Do y'all even remember this? How many people remember Last Dragon? Leroy, Bruce Leroy. That's always hype me up. Yes, movie. Say something, Aziza. Shout out to my baby. We're talking about a number of things today. I definitely want y'all to chime in. I hope y'all been watching the news. Hope y'all been seeing what's been happening. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Hello. All right, Toya. All right, Gabby, how you doing? Peace, everybody. I'm gonna talk about Black justice as usual. I'm gonna talk about vegan and veganism as usual, and I'm gonna talk about how those things combine as usual. When they got that good, I'll start with the lyrics. I got the glow today. I feel like I got the glow today. Y'all know this. Y'all let it rock. Y'all let it rock a little bit. Y'all know the 80s was crazy. Was sick. Ooh, I love the 80s. Hmm. All right, y'all. How y'all doing? My name is Omawale Adewale. Um, Black VegFest Breakout is returning. We return. And guess what? We're going to do Wednesdays, you know. And let me tell you why we're going to do Wednesdays, because, I'm going to be transparent, be open with y'all. The reason why we got to do Wednesdays, listen, I'm in the process of moving, um, 2.5 hours away from the city, still within New York. And for a number of reasons, it's a labored process, more than it normally would be. All right. So and And so therefore, I don't have the kind of service that I would have, at my office. So I'm in my office, and the office is not open on a regular basis, right? Because of COVID. And so that should clear everything up, right? And then and it's never open on Sunday. It's only open on Wednesdays. And so these particular times, things is difficult. It's always been like trying to get everything together and make it happen. Organizers, anybody who's running any business, nonprofit is what I've been running for 20 years. And or if you're running a for-profit, in some even my for-profit, dealings, you just have to be creative. You have to be creative, right? And you know what that is, what that's like. But when we talk about this nonprofit work or the movement work, and when I call it nonprofit work, and sometimes I'm talking about the nonprofit industry, and sometimes I'm not. And I'm like, well, we're not going to like put it in our, put the money in our pockets or just take each other's word. We're going to have something official. You know what I mean? Where it makes sense. If you came and you asked us for our taxes, and our information, we would have to give that to you. You can't do that with just a for-profit business. You can't do that. So when people, so anyway, that's enough of talk about those things if you know about those things. You can't do that with any other kind of business. You only can do that with nonprofit. If you were to come here, to the office or email, you would give us, a little bit of time, and we would have to present that to you. You don't have to do that with a for-profit business. You know what I'm saying? So, and we 501c3, meaning any donations that we receive, it got to go to the work that we say that we're going to do, and also you get to know where those funds are going. We tell you that. So that's so and that's every single nonprofit. Any nonprofit that's out there, you could ask them. We don't get much bread, so we do 900 in. So it was like what's that? A 990 in, excuse me. So ours is different than a lot of folks because we don't get bread. However, you'll be able to help me, and I'll talk about that. But the first thing I'm going to go into is we got to talk about white supremacy and how they utilize our protests to. Everybody always hijacks black movements. Everybody always hijacks black movements. When you talk about like the one of the biggest, contradictions in history has been on this soil, right? And the fact that white folks can attack, black people, and then right now they'll be like, I just came in the world just today. I just came in the world just 20 years ago. Y'all were free. Listen, let me tell you something. So you understand, and so it makes sense. If my child's in the world, they're not in bondage because of the work that we did. You understand? They're not in bondage because of the work that was already laid out before me. You understand? But it doesn't mean that we're not suffering from the blowback. There's not still things to do. You motherfuckers act like there's not still shit to do. And I'm talking about everybody. Everybody's a motherfucker right now. But specifically talking about white folks, listen, there's still more work to do. Stop trying to absolve yourself from actual work to do. Because I'm doing work. I'm going to say that. A lot of black folks might not tell you, but you listen to an unapologetically black voice, I'm going to tell you, right? And it's not fucking complaints, because if it's complaints, motherfucker, don't ever complain in a Starbucks. Don't go to Starbucks and complain about they messed your order up. Get off the line at Target. Don't go in the line at Macy's. If I can't talk about murdering black people, Like police murdering black people, white folks murdering black people. Why the fuck are you? Why are you filling out this complaint that you got from Sears? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you complaining about the car that doesn't work? Just take it on the chin. You could do it. You know. So I want people to really think about it. You're not making sense. So I want us to make sense about this shit. Like, you could gripe about any issue, not just when it comes to queer folks, not when it just comes to black folks, but people use those particular times to be like, ah man, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, calm down. It's you that needs to recognize how this world actually moves and evolves. Don't talk about evolution. Because if we talk about evolution, we're going to talk about who has humanity, who has civility, um, who's humane, who's not, and then we'll begin into a whole larger conversation. All right, and we don't even know all the facts of our fucking history, but we're going to go into some of those things now. And I see that it's a tough conversation, so I'm gonna have some folks leaving. We're gonna keep moving. So we're gonna stay on white supremacy. So I'm bringing this up because there was a Boogaloo boy who is being charged with murder. He can receive capital punishment because he murdered a federal agent. So he shot. So in front of a federal courthouse, um, he shot two security officers. One was killed. This was in May 29th, right? So this is in California, really close to uh, not if I'm having anybody from Instagram, on, because I'm being told I'm not on Instagram. Am I on Instagram? Let me know, y'all. I'm being told I'm not on Instagram. Am I on Instagram or not? Because that'd be really interesting. Need some confirmation. I'm using Lula. I'm on. All right. So I'm getting bad information. I am on Instagram. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And so thank you. All right. So let me go back. Let me go. May 29th. All right. So white van opens up. Perpetrator shoots two security officers. Right. They happen to be. I mean, they happen to be protecting the federal courthouse. So this white man who's part of the Boogaloos, shoots them, murders one, and what was the purpose, right? So these are the Boogaloos, and folks haven't been saying they're white supremacists. Really, they don't say they're white supremacists. They say they're anti-government. They're white supremacists trying to start a race war, and that's being downplayed right now a lot. So they did that close to the protest that was happening on May 29th in Oakland, California, right? So that was the problem. So that's what happened. 8 days later, the feds caught up with him, had a firefight where two of them were shot. Two sheriffs were shot, right? Okay, he even went as far as he stole a car to even get back there because he had a van, he had two accomplices, with him. So stole a car. Then he went on a run after he shot the two officers. Then they shot him. They injured him. He ended up going into breaking into a home. Right, breaking into a home. What happened? These are the same dudes that's supposed to be protecting the home. Hey, listen, went in there, tried to steal another car to get away. This shit a race war. People will be like, well, we need to wait till there's more information. But that's the reality. That's what's happening right now. Okay. So I want folks to really look at that, but then also understand that this situation is bigger than what you think it is, right? So what are black folks, what Black Lives Matter, movement folks, anybody who's organizing, what are we actually, doing? We protesting because we being murdered, right? Um, Anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, rather, if this had happened where one people were being persecuted and just shot out in the street, like state sanctioned, and everybody has their murders around, right? Because people will start talking about, black on black. When this shit happens in Mexico, anytime it's law enforcement and you start talking about corruption, right? You know that there's murders happening within the Mexican people. But when the government is involved and they're corrupt, you don't ever bring on no Mexican versus Mexican crime. You start talking about the government. You don't start talking about the different nations or the different peoples within Mexico. You start talking about how the government structure has way too much power because that's sensible. You're already trying to address the crime, but it's tough to actually persecute, not persecute, but to really review any particular crime that law enforcement is wreaking on the people because they got certain amount of power, right? And there's certain things that they can do with a gun and a badge. So understand that when we're talking about justice, you really have to bring that apart because I'm seeing a lot of folks, and if you see it so much, depending on who your friends are, you're gonna end up start talking about some, black on black. You're never gonna bring up white on white. You ain't gonna bring on Polish. You're not gonna bring up any of that. All of that is steering you to confusing you. Why are you even out in the street? Why are these black folks even out in the street? There's even black folks who will be like, well, wow, I don't want to do the march, but we don't want to do the sitting down. We don't want to sit on the couch. We don't want to sit in a chair. We don't want to just relax and just act like, they'll handle itself because it's not handling itself. If a white man is going to the whole extent and there's a whole group, hundreds, thousands of these folks who are taking armed rifles and they're going to peaceful protests to say under the guise that they're protecting buildings and cars, now you know it's bullshit. So now it's the government's, responsibility to go and say, listen, don't bring any armed weapons to these protests, within a certain amount of feet or whatever. Why would you be engaging with an armed rifle with other folks who are just armed with, just their bodies, right? And signs. And you're just really trying to intimidate. And so, as a fighter, and I'm going to close this one part up, as a fighter myself, it's always been cowardly if you're not a fighter and I was to try to intimidate you, or you're not being aggressive to me at all, and I'm trying to intimidate you, that's cowardice. We never get points for whipping somebody's ass who ain't doing anything and they're not even a fighter, right? But this is law enforcement does this constantly. They don't have that same creed. They don't have that same value system that fighters have. It's the reason why you don't see fighters whipping everybody ass out here. No, we gentlemen. We walk around. We gentlemen. We basically gonna handle this. With certain protocols. In place. There's certain steps before we even engage in that. We're gonna try to de-escalate anything before we go out there, and just fighters just know that. And if you don't know that, you know that now. We're going to try to de-escalate because we don't look. If I was to say, I whip somebody ass over there, oh, were they fighting? Nah, they didn't know how to fight. We're like, well, that's nothing. Well, that's a pump. What we always say was like, oh, they fought a bum, or they fought bums. We damn sure like a bum. What we say in the fight game is somebody who is generally who doesn't have really any skill set, right? They don't have any real skill set. They don't really know, what they're doing. So it's not a badge of honor to do any of that, right? And so just be very clear about that. That it's not a badge of honor. And so, but this is what cops do, and people pat them on the back when they shoot down somebody. You shooting down somebody is not a badge of honor. You just creating a situation that's going to end up bad for you, in the long run. Because we're gonna make sure there ain't no fucking peace. If we don't get peace, we don't get justice, there ain't gonna be no peace. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna hate that shit a lot. You're gonna be in your life. You're gonna have this wealth, and we coming in those blocks. We coming in those. We ain't afraid of that. And I see some of these dudes, and they threatening that they got this and that. Listen, we didn't fucking hear you back in the day. We was still coming up in here and marching. Now we can actually get our own arms. So we listening to you. We like, you like what the like we not gonna get afraid. We're not gonna get more we not gonna get afraid. Now you got the athletes speaking up. Now they understanding and utilizing their power if they never recognize that. So how you gonna threaten us more? You can't threaten us at this point. So we're looking at white supremacy as that's evil, and that's always been an evil. That's always been an evil. It don't matter what Marvel comic you you looking at, or DC comic, or watching Star Wars, or anything like that. That's always been evil. Any way you slice it. So, but one of the issues that I'm having with a lot of black men, right? So I'm on a point two. It's my ginger beer right here. Right, I had ginger beer. All right. Um, what I'm having an issue with a lot of black men, and I wish a lot of black men was on this conversation, is that see, I'm what you call is traditionally I'm a man's man, meaning that well, I'm gonna kind of speak and I'm gonna kind of talk with no worry that somebody's gonna stop me from doing that. And any of my physicality is gonna be held in reserve. I don't need to necessarily use it. Also because I present as masculine, right? I present as masculine. Um, but let me speak to folks in that vein. And so this is why I could probably even take this and take this approach a lot better than a lot of men. And black, queer, and trans folks, I'll say, need to be respected in our community. Um, whether we understand it or we don't understand it. You understand? Let me see if this one is blocked. It's crazy. There's just a bird in the hallway. It's Brooklyn. It's a pigeon, of course. Um, black queer folk move a lot in our community. Black trans folk have been on the lines right now as we're fighting right now. And so when I hear some black men start talking and I'm hearing a lot of fucking cowards, you know what I'm saying this shit, talking too. Don't let me hear cowards speaking. You know what I mean? Because I hear cowards speaking, I'm like, who said you could speak in here? Right? So we got to grow groundswell right now, and we moving things. And I hear a lot of criticism on BLM. First off, let's be real clear that we can't have any black unity if there's division. if you got an issue with a black woman um, becoming a trans man or a black man becoming a trans woman because reproductive, system and all of that. There's foster care children you could foster. There's children you can adopt, and you could just cut that out right now. If you know what I'm saying, you could just cut that out right now. You can go ahead and there's a shitload of them in New York City. The number always goes up. The only time it goes down is when people step up and they start handling a responsibility. If you don't want to hear shit like that, you shouldn't be fucking with me. Let me be real clear about that. I don't even see how you can be like, oh, we gonna protect, you know what I'm saying, black women. But if you got a problem with lesbians because they don't like you, even lesbians who don't like you, they don't fucking have to like us. They don't even have to like me. You know what I'm saying? And when you get in a fight game, it's like, it's a different understanding. It's like, you don't like that person when you get in a match, for the fight to get you ready for it. At the end, y'all gonna shake hands and y'all gonna be. So I can totally put that away, often. I'm designed to put that away in my mind to understand to fight this individual. I guess in every single circle, you would have people who are able to kind of just turn off and turn on how their feelings. And this shouldn't be even a situation where you got to turn off and turn on. If you say you love black people, I've never heard Malcolm X talk about, I'm not fucking with queer folks. I ain't say I was fucking with them. I ain't hear Harriet Tubman say, listen, hold on a second. You was acting kind of funny. I don't like that. You might be gay or you might be, a lesbian. I'm not gonna rescue you. I ain't talking. So John the Truth never said we ain't gonna do. These are new motherfuckers that's coming with this shit. I don't listen to y'all. I can't listen to that. And I gotta be, direct about it. And then the problem is that a lot of times in our movement, we so passive and we kind of listen to folks and y'all only beef online and shit. Like, and we don't have those conversations. And so those conversations have to be had a lot more. And you don't even necessarily have to understand why people become trans, why people are queer, or might have been, they felt trans their entire life. They felt queer their entire life. You got to understand how to be a respectable black man. You got to first understand how to be a respectable black man. You got to understand how to be a black man. When a black man tell you some shit and you all of a sudden follow it, I check every goddamn thing. How this make sense? How this make sense? Do some. We would do some history on it. We would understand exactly. Well, was this something that we found in Africa? Is this just a European thing? Man, African nations have had queer folks. They didn't just come over there because of white men. I mean, like if you saying that kind of shit, it's almost like, wow, your head blown. I'm gonna leave with this last piece. I went to Nigeria when I was 28. When I went, of course, I went with a 28-year-old mind. So the mindset that I had, in some ways, that I thought a little older, a little bit more rational. In some ways, I thought very young, very immature. I was going there because I was leading, our movement. You know what I mean? At 28, grassroots artist movement. We went there to bring healthcare, particular medicine, to our people, but also to build and organize. So we were bringing medicine. We had medicine circulating around, and in the Bronx, and around this entire city, rather. Artists coming in and making sure we can get people to clinics. So we were doing that kind of work. with no funding, no outside funding. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of y'all be getting this funding, and man, y'all be throwing away $1 million. I ain't never seen $1 million in the organization. We just doing the work. But in any case, we were doing that. But I think it was on the same day that we went around and trying to see doctors, um, who we could actually organize and see. It was only until I was on a plane and had left and already went back to New York that my comrades who were on the ground in Lagos, Nigeria, had let me know, hey, we actually found some doctors that we're gonna work with them. Man, when I was there, we were on foot. We was on public bus. We was on Akadas, which are motorcycles, regularly, getting so many things, using an entire day, really. And I was just seeing, like, damn, they doing so much more with less. I said at that time, I don't wait. I don't wait to say somebody doing some shit better than me or I need to learn from them. Came back to my team, told them, like, listen, yo, they killing it over there. They would be killing hip hop in general, on another issue. But it's they don't have the media, capabilities, in terms of how the wide range, in terms of America. So we miss a lot of that. But their lyrics, their music on point. But even if you talk about in terms of medical, and you talk about, listen, it's only when it's counterintelligence at play, we don't fucking actually move to our highest level. Somebody's always fucking with us. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? Find anybody who's self-motivated. Find anybody self-motivated and ask them. But in any case, I remember this one day with my comrade, rest in peace to him, to Fleet Militant, Moyo Sore. And the brother, he gave me my name, Omawale. Omawale means the son has come back home. Adewale means the crown is returned. It's legal, everything. It's on my social security card, my ID is not underground, anything. So on this particular day, so it's a very special day. It's a special time. The brother was happy and he grabbed my hand and he held my hand like I had held my girlfriend's hand, before. And so I had gotten uncomfortable. I didn't pull it away immediately, but I was just like, we were walking, and then I was like, I was saying to him, in the States, this would be considered, gay. This would be considered, some queer action, something that. And he laughed at me. And he laughed at me. You understand? He laughed at me because essentially what he was saying, and he later said, that he is not gay. But we use all of this in how we bond, right? And how we bond and who we want to bond with. And we use that to attack one another and to say that somebody is not good enough. What if I told you you're not man enough because you can't protect your home? If I came to you and I said, and I was like, I saw you up on the street. I saw that you were a smaller man, and I came to you in front of your children. I came to you in front of your children, and I humiliated you, right? Because you couldn't do anything. How much of a man are you at that point? Right? What are the things? We have to relearn manhood. And I'm not going to go through it on this whole thing right now. It's a huge piece. And I see some women on there, and I really want to, not that y'all can't be on it, but I really want to save it for black men. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many ways to look at manhood. And I understand the things you're going with. So a lot of the things that you've gone through, I've gone through that as well. So he had shifted and told me that my manhood that I was trying to essentially ascribe to, was built on bullshit. Like, I can't hold your fucking hand. I can't give you a hug. I can't show you love. Like, no, I'm not queer. But if we look at it in terms of queer sense, how much is it for somebody is interested in you, right? And you straight, and they're gay, and but they're interested in you. How do you all of a sudden want to harm them? How do you all of a sudden want to harm your brother or your sister, for that? And then we're usually talking about, right, we're talking about black trans women being killed in the street. I can't respect that at all. That should get no respect. Who are you going to get? That's not a pedophile. So, and a lot of folks are weak anyway. And I don't want to just because then it become me just, you know what I mean, bringing up so many scenarios and where I've seen men be at like, you really at a real soft level. I really see. So this is me. I see weak level when or you not being a black man when you get in office and you start selling out. Like that's some fucking corny shit. That's soft. That's some shit where we can't respect. Where you see certain people better than us, that's when I have to look at you and say, oh, not really see where you are. Because it got to be based on substance. It got to be based on something that actually makes sense, to me, right? It's just as crazy as somebody, oh, you're not a man because you're vegan, right? Folks, just crazy ideas and delusions on what manhood is, on what's tough. If anything is tough, a woman's vagina is tough. Having a child, going through that shit's tough, right? Standing up and being honorable, supporting people, that's difficult when when you're the only person standing up, when you're the only person kneeling. Sometimes the same man would have came and said something about disparage square folks, but then won't speak up at their own job when they're being disrespected. And I throw my hands up like, damn, you make it hard for anybody else who's going to work at that job. You don't stand up. You make it hard for everybody else. So I want my black men, my brothers, to really stop listening to motherfuckers who be talking this bullshit. Anti-queer, anti-trans. Why that should affect you like that? You know. So I also want to put out that I'm going to be speaking, and it's on the post. You can see on previous posts, the Veggie Taste. The Veggie Taste was having its 10-year anniversary. I was going to be there in Atlanta this year, but COVID happened, so I am going to be speaking live on Zoom. Not on Zoom, sorry, not on Zoom. I'm using StreamYard, but y'all just check it on Facebook. But if you go through Veggie Taste and support them. This is my sister that before she even did that, right? Before I did Black VegFest with my team, before she did the Veggie Taste with her team, we knew each other. We were doing food justice work. You know what I'm saying? Late 90s, early 2000. Like at 2000. We were doing that work. Like, and I'm just like, and she hit me up. I believe last year, and was like, yo, yeah, I gotta have you, and I'm like, that's so dope. That's so dope that here's this sister's doing this for 10 years. Don't think that we're not doing this. Don't think we're not doing this. Shout out to Naima. Great work, sis. The Veggie Taste, like, don't think that our people not on this. Don't think we not on that. If y'all seen that article on BBC, y'all see my quote. Man, I was talking a lot of shit. They ain't put all the shit in there, but they put some. But I was thankful for that, because often people who are doing this who are unapologetically black, and push vegan intersectionality, and who ain't gonna try to tell you everything good and then try to tell you everything to make you comfortable. Because my shit is like, depending on what I'm saying to you and how I'm saying it, it's gonna rub everybody the wrong way. Something gonna rub you the wrong way, whatever. But it's like you got to get comfortable with hearing justice. You got to get comfortable with hearing concern. You got to get comfortable hearing people, speak to you logically and having rational conversation about where the truth and justice. But do understand, this is not saying that folks on the left is the same equally on the right. No, I don't think that anybody on the right is, really making any sense. Because if you supporting, what's in office right now, that's fascism, right? It's fascism. I don't give a fuck if you vegan. What that mean? That's fascism. If you were to support, the dude that's in office and he talking fascism, and if that came out of the same mouth as somebody who didn't look like you would have a shitload of problems with that. If a black man had came up there and they got like, you know what I'm saying, like 3 wives and you know what I mean, children, no, you know what I mean. Listen, you go fuck how rich they were. If they had their name on a plane, they would be getting drugged through the dirt, you know. And that's just the reality, of the situation. Folks can disagree, but any case, that'll give you a preview that I'm gonna be talking about a number of things, but I'm also gonna be trying to help people go vegan. My community is gonna be out there. Black folks gonna be there. Um, any and everybody else can be there and get this information. I remember there was people who bought my first book, and she was to be honest, she was a Trump supporter. She was a Trump supporter. Got my book. We're talking about how much I literally had changed her life. Because she saw my talk, she got my book. There were some other people out there who was like that. Don't think that should make me be like, oh, okay, well, I could kind of understand, and But I was appreciative, of course. Anybody who's gonna, if you buy my book, you supported me. You supported me. You could buy a bunch of other vegan books and still buy my book. I'll take that as a support. But when you supporting that dude, shit, I'm gonna let you know that's bullshit, and we gonna have to cut ties. It really be that simple. So that's how I make sense of it. So I'm gonna talk about that, and talk about some of the easiest ways that we can go vegan and make changes in our lives, and talk about how this is a growing movement. Be on this, be very clear about this. This is a growing movement. A lot of black people are gonna go vegan. I know so many awesome folks that are around the country that are helping with that. Shout out to Mike Africa. And I say shout out to Mike Africa because I don't know many vegans who go hard for their community, go hard for black folks. I don't know many black vegans who do that. I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, oh shit, such and such do and such and such. Slow down. I've been doing this shit about 20 fucking years, and organizing. And let me be clear, unapologetically black. Unapologetically black, meaning when white funders want to fund, I'm gonna be honest with you. You fund how I need to see the work. And fund how, like it's a beautiful thing when you support organizers. We're already gonna do the work, regardless if you fund it or not. And y'all take advantage of that. But y'all also don't think, like, if your very goal is to make sure change is made, like that's your principled goal, to make sure there was an impact on people, that people go vegan, right? That animal harm is reduced, right? That people have their more awareness about climate change, right? And you know that there are black folks that are doing that. And you know that they're just organizers in general that are doing that. You want to support those folks who hit the ground running. You want to support those folks all the time. That's what I mean. I know that automatically. I see organizers doing that work. You want to help them so they don't get burnt out. You support them so you don't get burnt out. That's how I had to. That's why I had to take a break. Man, I had to take a break. COVID going on. I'm gonna be just talking on here. Meanwhile, trying to move and get a house. And we doing rap, we doing protests. We doing protests and Tulsa. To New York City. We organizing our own protests. We turning Black VegFest and to a Black VegFest rally. On the day we were supposed to be, celebrating veganism and championing animals and other oppressed peoples. We still did that, and we fed people for free. We wanted to do that way, but of course, it was a difference. So yeah, we got to take a rest because we're not funded like that, not at all. Um, and so I don't like to hear that some of these organizations are getting millions of dollars. I don't see millions of dollars of work. I don't see millions of dollars of work. I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? I really don't see it. If you've been to Black Veg Fest, you're already looking at that like, damn, they probably put some bread in it. Not really. You know what I'm saying? We're really creative. We're really dope and we're really creative. And we try to build a movement. And we went where we went last time, charge us an arm and fucking leg. But we need to do indoor and outdoor every single time because we need to make sure it is accessible to folks who are handicapped. We need to make sure it's accessible to folks who are handicapped. We need to make sure that Black and Black trans feel like they're supported when they come here. That all Black people feel like it's a Black space. It's heavy. Like we don't do no shorts on there because somebody else is looking. But at the very same time, we like, hell yeah, we want everybody to come. And movements who are white, they already knew. Anonymous for the voiceless, they ain't perfect, but they came every single time. I did not see DXC. DXC did not ask us. We know Mercy for Animals has supported. But we also know they get a shit ton of money. I ain't know how much money they got until now. Now I gotta start looking at all y'all money. I gotta look at all y'all money now. You know what I'm saying? What kind of bread y'all getting? Listen, because we get a fraction of that shit, we change shit. And that's every motherfucking movement that's out here, every Black movement. So I'm gonna go on to number 4. Speaking of which, I gotta talk about we got 5 new projects. Black Veg Fest has 5 new projects. And I want to make sure I don't miss any of the projects. Even though 2 of the projects, Black Veg Fest Brooklyn, that's one project, right? So you already know what that is. Black Veg Fest Brooklyn is our project. We're trying to raise 100K to make sure we have that and that it is beautiful and it is incredible. One of the things that we were going to do this year was going to bring it back to a legendary space in Brooklyn that has barred anybody utilizing it again. We're going to bring that back in the community. It was going to be like on the block of the train station. If you do something in New York City where it's on the block of the train station, it's going to be bananas. It's going to be, it was going to be so incredible. Large space, indoor and outdoor. Oh my goodness. Like, it was going to be great. Then the Bronx was going to be first. So the Bronx, we had to cancel first. That was in April. Supposed to be in April. We did nothing for that. At least this year, Black Veg Fest Brooklyn, we did Black Veg Fest rally, and folks had something. And let me go, and before I go into the Bronx, when we did Black Veg Fest rally, listen, we didn't let people know the location until the day before. Still had hundreds of people there. Listen, listen, the movement is heavy offline. The movement is heavy. I was like, you can see, we got to put more pics out there. We got to put more pics, more video, but an incredible demonstration of Black women running. That I know y'all see me and my voice. That's just because folks don't have time, or just introverts. My queen Nadia, one of the leaders on there. Lori Kim, who led, and you got to just see what she was speaking about, and talking about black queer reparations, defunding the police. These some of the issues. Also making sure that, listen, we don't need forced cow milk, on our children, as well. We also don't need. We got to end live animal markets. We have to end factory farming. There's so many different things we have to address, and so that sister was addressing that along with other folks, as well, other speakers who came. So that was just so it's just an incredibly building, movement, and so we want to bring that back to the Bronx. So 2019, we were in the Bronx, and then we were looking to come, back. This year we didn't do it, but next year we looking to do that, April, and bring that back to the Mitchell Center. I can't really go into Brooklyn when we're going to do that because, well, we got to hope we get that spot again. But it just was an incredible, incredibly sad. But I have to say that the Bronx. I lived in the Bronx for 10 years. It has the poorest congressional district 15. You're talking about so many issues and so many problems that's happening within the community, within the Bronx, and nobody wants to really address it. And listen, I'm not even sure about the borough president, so who wants to be the mayor? But that's a whole nother issue. So let me get to the other points. So there's three other. One, we want to do healthy meals. So healthy meals will bring out lower cost, for people in the community who feel like, well, and this is the business saying, like it's too expensive for them to be able to purchase certain products, right? So we want to make it cheaper by working with folks like Tofurkey, Beyond Meat, and Follow Your Heart, and others. And those are folks who helped out with Black VegFest rally. So do I have to give them a shout, even though they did not really share it out there because it really comes off unapologetically Black. And everybody, no matter how much white allies feel like, yo, they really with it, y'all ain't gonna go heavy like that because that's just gonna mess with you. Because you must feel like you got racists in y'all group. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be honest with that. So, but with the healthy meals, that particular project allows us to bring down costs and also and just provide it over to customers in the community and raise up veganism, make it accessible, begin educating folks on a lot of the movement. Work, and we talk about vegan intersectionality. So things with food, right? That's hilarious. So we can really fuse, all these different issues that we have, together, and we can work on them, right? So the next two is when we talk about healthy schools. How do we build healthy schools? You really got to start when the semester begins, right? So we're hoping to start in the second semester again. So we had began this year in February. Once again, COVID hit and we had to stop. And we were working with Brooklyn Botanical Gardens. We're working with Healthy School Food Coalition. Shout out to them and Kelly. And the school did not want to fund, and in the school is base, which is inside Prospect Heights, which is also an alma mater. It's one of the 5 high schools I went to. You know what I'm saying? That was my zone in Crown Heights. So, so I was teaching in the class, making the connection between healthy school, healthy food, healthy people, and what? Animal liberation. And helping people be able to see that, and also climate change. I brought all those issues in there, and one sister came to me, one student, this young lady came to me, right? 15, 16, and she was so she's from Jamaica, and she had talked about how she already knew about she understood and knew the connection between like cutting chicken's head off and eating the chicken, which most people did not know. At the end, she came to me and she said, after describing that and knowing that process and saying that, oh, the information that I was saying to her was giving her a new perspective that was more enriching to her life. But she said, thank you. She's like, thank you, for the, and I'm like, don't think that folks younger don't understand and won't get this message. So of course we want to do that. And I say that we do this now during COVID, and you introduce veganism now during COVID, where schools are just don't know what the fuck they doing. The only thing they're gonna know right now is just like, hey, this is the perfect time to start taking out that meat out of their system, out of the school system, and start going at dairy. We don't need cow milk. Who the fuck is that? Who's promoting cow milk? Who? Like, it's weird. The only people who will be promoting cow milk is who are benefiting from it financially, right? So weird. Not even gonna go more weird into it. It's just weird. It got you like, I'm messing with those, you know what I'm saying, human, milk, but the cow milk, you know. So we can take that out of the school system. And I know I can do that, but we got to start with one school. And so we raising funding, for that. And you're going to see that on our next post. And the last one is, and this is this post, this particular piece, I'm working closely with my partner, Nadia. And we feel like organizers, and this is a thing that I've had in my mind for years. We need to protect and support organizers. We get burned out. We work for free. We do a lot of this work that you don't see in the community. Like, we went over to the projects and we fed folks and the seniors, and we started it. Nobody came up to us. Y'all looking for folks to come and tap y'all on the shoulder. Y'all doing some shit. Fuck that. And fuck your movement. Nobody's doing that. Stop thinking people are going to do that. You got to start some shit, and you got to go ahead and do it. And you ask people, like, how can I do this, or how can I be a part of that? I'm sorry, I got to be gotta be vicious with that shit. Some of y'all just be looking for people to join y'all movement. Fuck that movement. You know what I'm saying? You mad because somebody ain't gonna, like, y'all ain't never gotta say my name, and they don't be saying my name. Because why? It don't come in a pretty, package piece. I ain't trying to do that. This shit for the rugged motherfuckers, B. This shit for the rugged motherfuckers, like anybody out there who just do it. People who just hit the ground and they running. They like, what? We ain't looking back. We just moving. We moving, and we moving with the folks who's moving with us. You come into the movement. I come in and I ask folks, you doing this. Who ask me, hey, you don't expect it. You come in and you be a part of that. If you got to do a shitload of work. You don't get to complain you ain't been doing it for 20 years or something. You at least try to do it for a decade before you start like, damn, nobody helping. You doing some shit for 2 years and you like, damn, why they ain't jump on? Come on, B. Ain't nobody jump on, anything that I was doing for years. You don't wait for them. You don't wait for them. You do your own, right, Queen? So support what we doing in terms of community resource, because I look at it like organizers just go ahead and they just move, and we don't ask for help a lot. So with this piece, yeah, we want to raise 500,000. If some of these organizations is getting millions, send us a fucking mill. You know what I mean? Like, so we could make incredible amounts of freaking change. And that's just the real. Once again, this is ginger beer. People are like, wait, you drinking beer on there? It's ginger beer, and it's delicious. I'm glad the last four of y'all, are around and totally supportive, and been able to kind of listen to this through, and everybody who did, get on it and got anything, from it. I know some people did say some words, and I am very sorry that I ignored you. So I'm up here trying to go back, or maybe I just guessed it. Why should we characterize